So you got a 2-year degree in criminal justice. I got a 2-year degree in criminal justice, although I went about it a little bit different. I got hired with no degree, and then I chipped away at it years later. When I first got hired, the agency I was working for, there was no incentive to get a 2-year degree, to have a 2-year degree. There was no pay incentive at all. And so I saw no value in completing it. Our current agency has a 2-year requirement, which is uncommon nationwide and somewhat uncommon statewide here in the state of Washington. So I did finish my degree in criminal justice. I had been a cop for 15 years when I finished it. And so part of what happened to me is by the time I finished a degree in criminal justice, I had lived 15 years of police work. And so I saw very little value in the material. And so I didn't really have a perspective on how that could have helped me as a police officer had I got one in the beginning. So much so that when I decided to go back and get a bachelor's degree, you had finished a bachelor's degree recently in business management. And so I opted for the same degree, same college, same degree as you did. I kind of saw the trajectory of my career headed towards management, supervision, and also just wanting to diversify my interests. The business degree program I went through and that you went through, it was hugely helpful. Everything from Excel to microeconomics to macro, you name it. All of that material, while not directly related to police work, I like to tell people, if you're interested in business at all, police agencies are just like a business. We have expenses, we have human resources, we have people, and we provide a service. And so it really is like running a business. And so I've actually found huge benefit to having the degree in business, especially as a captain, probably as a sergeant, but I'll let you comment on that. So much so that when it came time to finish the master's degree, now at this point I'm pretty far down the rabbit trail of business, so I'm kind of committed, but finishing a master's degree in business management seemed to make sense. And I've also found that hugely helpful in my current job. And so I say all of that because I know that there are people out there who have interests outside of law enforcement. We both, let's say, have a degree in business. We do. In retirement, that could serve us in a variety of ways. Police officers in Washington State are going to retire at 53 with a full retirement. Of course, you can stay longer than that, but that opens some doors. And I guess so does criminal justice. But this is my because it's my podcast, way of saying, if someone has an interest outside of criminal justice, I always tell them to get a degree in anything that they're interested in. Now, anything's kind of a big term, right? Art appreciation, or nothing against the arts, but less valuable perhaps. But if you're interested in English, we write a lot. Technology has not taken away the amount that a police officer will write every day. Mathematics is just good for your brain. History, business, accounting, whatever. There are lots of degrees that people might be interested in that could be helpful as a backup plan, because this career is not for everyone. And criminal justice can be kind of dry. And I don't think you have to love criminal justice to love cop work and be a good cop. So do you give similar advice? Do you point people at criminal justice degree? We have actually lockstep. You and I have the same degrees. And so I'm curious what advice you give to people who are seeking a career in law enforcement.
You hit the nail on the head. Yeah, diversify. Find something where your passion lies if you want to seek a higher education. The 2-year degree, that was kind of a low-level degree back then to go get. I think a lot of high school kids now come out of their high school career with a 2-year degree. The more advanced degrees become the bachelor's and the master's now. Agreed. The bachelor's degree found a tremendous amount of personal growth. As I mentioned before, not a good student. And when I went to the community college and was in a career field, my interest and aptitude skyrocketed. And you go from a guy who lucky got a 3.0 once ever in my my high school career was doing way better than 4.0ing in these applied sciences. So that was great for me. And one thing my parents had said, you need to get a 4-year degree. You need to do that. And I had promised them that I would get a 4-year degree. And much like you were saying, older in life. So I got the 2-year degree, got hired, and I'm now in my 40s. And I'm like, it's still nagging in the back of my head. I'd made this promise that I would get my 4-year degree. And I looked around. I was had some 20-something-year-olds that were kind of in my hemisphere of people that I know, and they were kind of struggling and not knowing what to do with life. And I'd push them like, hey, why don't you work towards getting some college education? This is for everyone, pick the umbrella to study under, not the laser focused. You don't study, modern art in Bulgaria in this one region. Like, if you want to study art, get under the big umbrella of art. So it allows you more wiggle room if you decide that's not what you do. There's healthcare, there's business, there's law, there's these big umbrellas to study under. And that's where I direct people to go to. Find the umbrella. If you like mechanical things, maybe don't specifically work on only Honda transmissions. You like transmissions, but they're on cars. So pick the bigger umbrellas you can get under to get the widest range of knowledge, because that all does translate into the job we do. We do a lot of problem solving. We have a lot of interaction with people, customer service wise, which is in business. It's in all these things that we mentioned. So yeah, the going back and getting that 4-year degree was very fulfilling, and I recommend people that we work with. They don't, not everyone sees the benefit out front. Like, what's the incentive for me to do that? And what I'll tell people is that the incentive isn't always financial. Sometimes you find yourself and have some personal growth and learn something that happiness is a better incentive than a financial one.
Yeah, and we've hit on it. We've gone around and around with it, but it personal enrichment. Once you meet the other layers of Maslow's hierarchy, personal enrichment. I actually enjoyed going back to college as in my late 30s, and I sure approached it a lot different than I did when I was 18, 19, 20. A lot different. Back then I was just getting by. I was doing the bare minimum. I wasn't striving for perfection. And that came because I didn't have to study hard to get passing grades. And so the byproduct of that is I didn't have to try hard to get by in high school and early college, community college. And so as an adult, though, I have now built my way through, like, if I'm doing this, I'm doing this. Everything was, I will be perfection. Every paper will be perfect. Every test will be, I'm striving for 100. And that's actually a lesson I've seen personal growth, but I've also seen people testing for different things within the department, promotions, ancillary assignments, detective assignments, and they're aiming for 70. And then when they fall short, they're at a 69 and they've failed.
Right.
And through personal growth, I've found, like, man, I'm just going for 100. No plan B.